Hey guys, this is Mr. H. Hey, I decided to do a few questions from Delta Math on how to do inverse functions. So I'm just going to do like two or three questions and show you the using PEMDAS and then inverse operations can basically handle anything. So very first thing I'm looking at. First thing I'm going to do is take a picture. Okay, so I took a picture of this. Now I'm going to use this and kind of mark it up. All right, so one of the things I need you to understand is just count the numbers that you have. I have a 4, I have an 8, 1/7, I have a 6. So I'm going to need, why isn't it writing? I am going to need 4 steps, right? So first thing is you do what's inside the parentheses. So the very first thing I'm going to do is subtract 4, and then I'm going to divide by 8. And then I'm going to raise all of that to the 1/7 power, and then I'm going to add 6. That's what PEMDAS says. That's the order that we should be following. So that's what I did. Now, to find the inverse, we are just going to switch the order, and we're just going to do the inverses. So the opposite of adding 6 is subtracting 6. The opposite of raising something to the 1/7 power is actually raising it to the 7th power. The opposite or inverse of dividing by 8 is multiplied by 8. The inverse of subtracting 4 is adding 4. So now I'm just going to do these steps in this order, and that will give me the inverse. So my inverse, I always start with x, and then I'm going to subtract 6. So subtract 6, done. And then I'm going to raise this to the 7th power, done. And then I'm going to multiply that by 8, done. And then I'm going to add 4. There is my inverse. And if I look over here at the answer choices, it looks like the last choice is the 1. So I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to go and I'm going to select this one. Submit it. Says nice job. All right. I'm going to do another one. So let's see here. I'm going to take this, going to take a picture. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to do basically the same thing. I'm going to start. I got a 3, I got a 1/7, I got an 8, and I got another 3. So that's going to be, I need 4 operations. There's going to be 4 operations. The very first thing that I'm doing is I'm raising it to the 1/7 power. So I'm just saying to the 1/7 power. Next thing I'm doing is multiplying by 3, and then I add 8, and then I raise the whole thing to the 3rd power. So I'm going to switch, and now to find the inverse function, I'm just going to reverse the order of the operations, and then I'm going to find the inverses. So the inverse of raising something to the 3rd power is actually taking the cube root. The inverse of adding 8 is subtracting 8. The inverse of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. The inverse of raising something to the 1/7 power is the same thing. The inverse is raising it to the 7th power. And that's it. So now I'm going to come down here, and here's what my inverse should look like. So I always start with x. I'm going to take the cube root of that, done. And then I'm going to subtract 8 from that, done. Then I'm going to divide this whole thing by 3, done. And then I'm going to take that whole thing and raise it to the 7th power. And that's my inverse. So let's see which one looks like the first one. So that's my answer. So let me go delete. Let me delete this. And then let's choose the first one. Let's submit it. Says good. Now, I'm going to do one from the highest level. This is level 4. So let's see if we can get this. All right, so this one looks pretty basic. But I'm going to take a picture. All right, and let's see what we got here. So I have two numbers. I have a 5 and I have a 9. So that's what I'm gonna need two operations. So my very first operation is I have an exponential function. So it's right. Um Oh, actually, I have three things because there's a square root. There's a 2 there. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this square root and then I'm going to multiply it by 5. All right, so I'm going to change colors. I'm going to reverse the order. So the very first thing I'm going to do is divide by 5. And then I'm going to square that. And then I'm going to take the log with a base 9 of whatever I have. So I'm going to come here and my inverse function, I always start with x. I'm going to divide it by 5. And then I'm going to square that. And then I'm going to take the log with the base 9 of that. And that's what I've got. So let's see, is there anything there that looks like what I have? This one right here looks like it'll work. So I would go and I'm going to choose this one. Let's see if that's right. It is. I'm going to do one more question and then I'm going to post the video. All right, so now here's another one. Let me take a picture. Let me edit it a little bit. All right, so here we go. First thing, how many steps are we going to need? Well, count the numbers. There's a 4, there's a 4, there's a 3, there's a 4. So there's 4 things here. So that's what I'm putting here. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, going to be 4 operations. All right, the first thing that I'm doing is the parentheses. So I'm going to be subtracting 4, and then I'm multiplying times 3. Actually, let me go, let me just kind of go back through this. So first thing I'm doing is I'm subtracting 4, which is this. And then I multiply by 3, which is this. And then I'm raising all of that stuff to the 4th power. Well, with the base of 4. So I'm making an exponential base 4. And then I'm going to take the 4th root. So I'm taking the 4th root. Okay. So now I need to, I'm going to have I'm going to reverse the order. And I'm just going to do the inverses. So the inverse of taking the 4th root is actually raising it to the 4th power. The inverse of an exponential with a base of 4 is to take a log with a base of 4. The inverse of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. The inverse of subtracting 4 is adding 4. So I'm going to come down here. I know my first thing is going to be an x. So then I'm just going to use my thing here. So I'm raising it to the 4th power. Done. I'm going to take the log base 4 of that. Done. I'm going to divide this whole thing by 3. Done. And then I'm going to add 4. Done. So that's what it should look like, something like that. Let's see what we got here. Looks like this one is the one, option 2. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to go to this, submit it. Let's see what we get. All right, that's it, guys. So I'm basically using PEMDAS to find out what should go first and the order. And then I take the inverses of those things that I did and I reverse the order. And then I just use the reverse order with the inverses and I just do that. And I come up with the inverse. All right, I am going to stop this and I hope this has been helpful.